lot of companies and brands creating a lot of hype around cars and concepts today with cool looking computer renderings and stats. And out of those brands, a small percentage get to the point where they actually have something tangible, such as a working concept car. And out of those, an even smaller percentage reach the point of production. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the spec and tech of the all-electric Lucid Air, give you the numbers, and then talk about what really matters here, the design. Welcome back to the channel, TheSketchMonkey here. Now, we've been aware of Lucid and their first model, this sedan called Air, as a concept for a few years now. But this week, they finally unveiled the final production version. And every time I see a car company go from concept and thoughts into production, it blows my mind just out of respect and admiration for what they have achieved here. I cannot begin to imagine the hurdles and problems a team such as the one behind Lucid here has to overcome to be able to set a date of production and deliveries to the first customers. This is a huge step for any startup company. I want that to kind of infiltrate this entire video. I have an enormous amount of respect for Lucid and anyone else who decides to go for their dream, even though it's hard to see the top of the mountains through the dark clouds of doubts, challenges, and thousands upon thousands of trial and error. Lucid has had products in production. However, they have not been cars. They have been producing and providing the batteries used in Formula E. Now, the Air uses a 113 kilowatt hour battery, and Lucid claims that the Grand Touring Edition will have a range of 517 miles. Just an insane number, and it means you'll never have to wait for a charge, since your body will need maintenance in the form of food and sleep long before the car will need a charge. The Air can also be used with a charger of over 300 kilowatts, which is more than the Porsche Taycan and Tesla charger. And this means that the Air can be charged 300 miles of range in just 20 minutes. So what about the power here? Well, I think we can start to get used to seeing staggering power numbers from new electric cars from now on as more of them are being made and put in production. And the Lucid Air is no different here. It produces 1,080 horsepower, has a claimed top speed of 235 miles per hour, and completes the quarter mile in under 10 seconds. So what we're going to do now is talk about the design, of course, which I've been looking forward to for a long time, because there is one single little line on this car that just confuses me so much, and I'm going to show you that single little detail that probably no one cares about except me, but it still bothers me. I'm also going to redesign the Lucid into a power wagon. Just imagine this, a 1,080 horsepower all-electric wagon. How cool would that be? The thing is, we need to figure out what it would look like in the shape of a Lucid, so we're gonna do that later as well. But to do any of this stuff, we need to, of course, jump into Photoshop. So let's do that. Let's flip up the pen and jump into Photoshop and see what is what with the Lucid Air. You know what I love the most about the Lucid Air here is that it feels so grown up. The design itself, it feels like it comes from a company that's been around for a long time, longer than a startup that Lucid is in the car manufacturing industry. Looking at it right here from the top view, or from any angle around this car, what surprised me the most is the fact that this actually, it looks like a concept car. It looks like it still has these conceptual features still on the production car, which is very, very rare, specifically talking about the fitment of the wheels here and how well they sit inside of the body of the car. Usually when a car goes from concept to production, the wheels kind of get downsized, and then they put them inside of the car more. They kind of push the whole wheel into the body of the car. But here, the wheel fitment is what really surprised me the most about this car when I saw the production version, because it looks so good. And wheels, if you have the correct wheels on a car, it can boost the visual appeal by 50, 60, 70% just by having the right stance and the right wheels on a car. And I think Lucid did a fantastic job with that. However, these wheels right here, the 21-inch, these are not the most efficient wheels, and this is something I want to touch on too. I've talked about this before, that if I had to choose between having a maximum range of 520 miles or 470 miles, which I think these 21-inch wheels do if you put them on the car, then I would always prefer to have the version that looks better, because looks is so important to me that I can live with a 470 mile range, of course, instead of 520 with uglier wheels and an uglier stance of the car. So I think that's a really cool choice or option that Lucid gives. So you can have, Tesla does the same, they have the 21-inch turbine wheels that also reduces the range of the car. Same thing there, I would definitely put those wheels on the car because they also look fantastic on the Teslas, and I wouldn't bother about 30 or 40, 50 extra mile depending on a smaller wheel size. But anyway, let's have a look at the Lucid here, and let's have a look at this design and just how clean this is. Another thing I want to touch on here is the lack of styling in these cars, and this is also something I've been talking about before. If you've watched my videos before, is that I think this is going to be the norm moving forward. The reason this looks so futuristic is because it's so dialed back. There is no styling in the hood, for example. There's no styling lines in the roofs, and you can see the side here is all sleek and clean. But what makes a Lucid here is the use of big graphic features, such as the big front here. You have the graphic, the two-tone right here, which I think is going to be a thing on pretty much every single Lucid moving forward, because that will be a very important graphic element that will set the brand apart and create a very strong brand identity from this. Since we have so little styling features anywhere else on the car, the graphic features are going to be what is most important moving forward. So let's have a look at it from the rear here. Same thing here, a very clean, very refreshing, very grown up style. There is nothing overdone here, and I like this curvature here in the C-pillar, that they created this curvature right here instead of having it be very sharp like this. I think this design with the curvature, it creates a more of an elegant, almost like a canopy style roof, and it just suits the overall luxurious feeling of this sedan right here. And of course, very simple graphics in the rear, nothing overstyled at all. You have the two-tone theme running all around the car, and of course here again you can see the fitment of the wheels here. Stock wheels, these are stock, there's no spacers or anything added to this car, but still they just sit right flush with the body of the car. And this is something I want you to think about when you see other new production cars, and you can see that the wheels sit way further in than these do. And I'm very happy that Lucid actually made an effort. They probably had to go through some problems and some regulation issues to make this look like they do, but what it does is creates a fantastic stance. And to me, I appreciate that a lot, that they went through the effort of making that a reality. So looking at the front here, same as the top view that I showed you before, very simplistic styling. I like that you have the same kind of graphics in the side here that comes again in the front. It creates a wraparound design. When you talk about line flow, we have a one single sharp line that goes here in the side of the body of the car. This then goes into the front. And this is also the line that I want to talk about in the next image that I'm going to show you, because there is just one tiny line that doesn't make sense to me, and I want to bring it up because otherwise, if it wasn't for that line, this design would just be so clean, almost too clean. So I'm glad that that line is there, because what that does is it almost makes it into a piece of art. Art, to me, is supposed to be a little bit upsetting, or it should be a little bit just annoying. You want to go in there and figure out what is going on, and that is exactly what that line does. So let's go ahead and let me show you what line I'm talking about here. So have a look at the side view here. Beautiful looking side view. I love this color as well. It's like a graphite gunmetal gray, and of course the 21-inch wheels just fills up the wheel houses in such a beautiful way. So we have this one sharp line here, right? This is the shoulder line that kind of starts here, it fades from nothing, goes right here. I'm gonna remove my line so you can see the shoulder line clearly. Now I understand what they wanted to do here. They wanted to bring more attention to the rear fender, and they wanted to build almost a triangle feeling around the rear fender to build up the mass around it by creating some sort of triangle right here. Totally understandable, and a lot of car companies do that. But what this does though, you see the dip here in the side, in the shoulder line right here, it dips right here, goes down into the wheel, right? So they want to do the same thing on the rear. But what happens here, if we go in and look at this tiny little line that goes right here, what annoys me is that it doesn't connect to any features in the rear light here. What I would love to see here is either having this line connect to the lights in an angle like this, and not have it be like straight and then just down like this, and we have an abrupt corner there that doesn't connect the two elements, the line and the graphical element in the rear, which is the rear light. Either that, or I want to have this line go straight out here and then slope back into the wheel, just like it does here. A very nice curvature in this line, for example. It doesn't go like this, it doesn't go straight like this and then just suddenly dips down like it does here from this rear light, and then it goes straight down like this, creating this annoying little corner. Probably no one noticed that, but that was one of the first things that I noticed when I saw the rear of this car. Of course, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all in the overall feeling I have for this car. I love this design, it's very clean, and I actually like that they have something like that for me to just bring up in a video like this. When I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. So what I'm gonna do now is to create a wagon out of this. I love wagons. I wish we had more wagons here in the States. I know the RS6, I've said this before, I'm very excited about the Audi RS6 coming over here. I think it might boost some more interest for wagons. And I think this car, with its curvy lines and everything, I think it would look really good as a wagon. So what I'm gonna do now is just make a quick little edit to this car, and then come back, of course, and show you the end result. So guys, there we have it. This is my wagon version of the Lucid Air. I think it looks great. It reminds me a little bit of an Opel, actually, now that I look at it like this. But of course, it still looks like a concept to me. I can't believe that this is actually the production version of the Lucid Air, and I can't wait to see these cars on the streets. Now, the thing about cars like this, Lucid and brand new car companies on the market coming out, and I think you can see a kitten back there being very interested in my little water volcano there. Anyway, what I think about cars like this that is so interesting, especially if you, for example, want to be a car designer. I think now is a really interesting time to be a car designer, not just for new companies like this, but just look at what happened to Kia or Hyundai the last, say, 10-15 years. 10-15 years ago, they all looked exactly the same, but then someone came in and created an entire new brand identity for the Kias and the Hyundai specifically now coming out with with 3 concepts that are pixelated and stuff that we're gonna talk about in future videos, of course. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. But what I think about this, working for a company like Lucid would be a fantastic opportunity and so much fun, because you have the opportunity here to create a car from scratch, a whole new identity for a car. And I think their approach here with keeping the body almost timeless and very sleek and very subtle when it comes to styling, there is no over styling going on here, and just keep working on the graphic features of the car, it sets Lucid up for a great future in designing other cars. They are coming out with an SUV next after this. But Lucid, if you're watching this, please make a wagon too. I'm the TheSketchMonkey. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.